Hi, welcome to Bookie. Today we will be unlocking the book novelist as a profession. When speaking of Japanese literature, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Perhaps some people will think of the Japanese writer Kazuo Ishiguro, who received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2017. Or Yasunari Kawabata's Snow Country, and the author of Norwegian Wood Haruki Murakami might come to mind. The latter is in fact the author and main character of the book we are going to talk about today. This book provides a retrospective look and reflection on his 35-year writing career. Haruki Murakami is a postmodern Japanese writer and one of the most famous and popular novelists in the world today. His first novel Hear the Wind Sing earned the Gunzo Award for Best First Novel. He published Norwegian Wood in 1987. The Japanese edition sold more than 10 million copies and was adapted into a film. 1Q84, published in 2009, was said to be a milestone for Japanese literature entering the new millennium. Moreover, Colorless Sakura Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage, published in 2013, sold 1 million copies in 7 days, breaking the record for the fastest book to sell 1 million copies in the history of Japanese literature. He received the Jerusalem Prize in 2009, and the Danish Hans Christian Andersen Literature Award in 2015. Although Haruki Murakami is successful in literature, he was neither a talented novelist nor did he grow up wanting to become one at an early age. Before he switched to being a novelist, Haruki Murakami ran a store that played jazz music and served coffee, liquor, and foods. He entered the literary world after the age of 30, and then on began his lifelong career as a writer. Many people say that writing is hard, but Haruki Murakami, who didn't start writing until later in his life, does not agree. According to him, anyone can lift up their pen and start writing a novel. He further says that even someone with little talent can write a very good novel on their first try. As such, why is it that among all the people who have literary dreams, can only a few become novelists? Why can only a few write for a living, and successfully turn it into a lifelong career? In Novelist as a Profession, Haruki Murakami reveals his thoughts, and talks about the most important part of his 35-year writing career, sharing his motivation and the secret behind his enduring perseverance. We will now deliver the essence of novelist as a profession in 3 parts, and share the ups and downs of Haruki Murakami's literary path. Part 1: How was Haruki Murakami's literary potential cultivated? Part 2: How did Haruki Murakami begin to write novels? Part 3: How did Haruki Murakami expand his career as a novelist? Part 1: How was Haruki Murakami's literary potential cultivated? As a young kid, Haruki obtained average grades and had a rebellious spirit. He did not like competing based on test scores received at school. However, due to the influence he received from his family, he greatly enjoyed reading and was always happy whenever he had the chance to. As for the type of books he read, he indulged in both the good ones and bad ones, the classical and vulgar, the domestic and foreign. For him, whenever he was interested in reading, its contents did not matter. What mattered was the experience of reading itself. From primary school to middle school, there was no one who had ever read as much as he had. This became the solid foundation for his later career as a novelist. In high school, Haruki began to read original editions of English novels. He bought many of them from used bookstores and read them one after another tirelessly, not caring about whether he was able to comprehend them. Ultimately, he was able to finish an English book from beginning to end. Although this did not improve his English grades, he grasped a more flexible and practical English reading technique. This later provided inspiration for his capability to write novels, which we will discuss in further detail later. His rebellion was not only reflected in his neglect of school work, but also extended to other spheres. While he was growing up, he liked to spend the entire night playing mahjong with friends and hanging out with his